Back to you soon. We're going to check that 12,000 level again. Thanks, Nicole. Now, all eyes are on Friday's jobs report. Unemployment expected to remain around 9.2%, very high level. Joanie Ruge, Senior Vice President at the staffing firm SFN, that group, SFN Group, she is here with us today. All right, Joanie, let's not beat about the bush here. Yep. What do you think we're going to see on Friday morning?
Yeah, well, I think unfortunately on Friday we're probably going to see a very similar picture to what we saw last month. Hopefully there'll still be some job creation in the private sector, but probably some job losses in the public sector.
So what was it last month? I can't remember. Can you remember?
18,000.
Yep. 18,000, that's it. You think
18,000 total, right? I think we had about 49,000 that were created in the private sector and lost some in the public.
You think it'll be that bad again?
I think it's going to be similar. I guess, you know, there are a lot of economists that are saying they're going to see, you know, hopefully somewhere between 70 and 80,000 jobs, but we're still talking about under 100,000 jobs. And in order to get that unemployment number really moving or to start seeing some things moving in the right direction, we need to see 200,000 jobs created. I don't think we're going to see that this Friday.
Last time you were with us, you predicted, well, it wasn't a prediction, but you said, look, we're in the middle of a really nasty job shedding program by states around this country.
Yeah, we talked about that.
You were right. And you think it continues?
Well, I think, look what we're seeing just with what's happening with, you know, the debt ceiling and the deal that they're doing. They're going to have to make additional cuts, and I think we're going to see job losses, you know, in that government sector. But when it comes to the private sector, I mean, that's what we really need, is we need the job creation.
Is it there?
Right now, you know what, I will say, companies are still hiring. The interesting thing is it's just slow. Employers are still very cautious.
Who's hiring? Tell me who's hiring.
A lot of the Fortune 500 are hiring, but they're hiring still at the higher levels. When you look at that unemployment rate, the college-educated worker, unemployment is less than 4.5%. The problem is the jobs aren't coming back at the lower levels. So just as we see manufacturing down, we're not seeing those lower-level jobs, you know, come back in that area.
So in the last couple of months, we have had some pretty weak manufacturing data. I think it's gotten everybody concerned. But although I've heard from more than one person, manufacturing jobs actually may come back to this country. I mean, it's a point where people are looking at, you know, the cost associated with bringing goods back in, having that might make more sense for them to manufacture them here in this country. That surprised me a little bit.
Well, it surprises me too. I mean, the sad thing is we don't manufacture that much stuff here in the States. Now, wouldn't it be great if that was the case? I think where we might see that come back is maybe in the small to medium-sized business community. If we could get some growth, that could really make a difference.
9/11, the Freedom Tower, downtown Manhattan, they're building it. Concrete Workers Union, they refused to continue work. They finished their contract. They walked off the job. Union guys walked off the job just a few weeks before the 10th memorial of 9/11. Now, you're in the jobs arena, the employment arena. Come on, give me a comment. What do you think?
Yeah, so this is a tough one for me, I think.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, it is. I'm a little torn on this one. What I feel, you know, that obviously there's so much sentiment that goes around there, and you hate to see. What's sad to me is that you'd see people in this economy, first of all, walk off a job, especially in that particular site. But exactly, right? So I'm disappointed to see that. Yes,
well, look,
very disappointed for all. Yes,
Anybody
I know you are, Stuart.
Do you share my outrage? You don't share outrage at this?
I share your outrage. I'll disagree with Chris on this, that A, nobody should be walking away from a job in this scenario right now. That to me just sounds shocking. And B, the timing is just absolutely horrid and awful and sends a horrible message. And Chris, you're welcome to disagree.
No, I agree with that about walking off a job right now is not exactly the right time for it. But you know, I think both sides could be taking advantage of this situation, Stuart, without being in those negotiations. I mean, certainly the union side could be taking advantage of it, and then the management side could be saying, you know what, we've got leverage here, because if they walk off this job, you know, 2 months before 9/11 or a month before 9/11, it's going to look bad for them. So we've got leverage now, and they may be using that, Stuart.
It would be. I'm too optimistic.
What do you mean?
It would be nice to think that they could kind of come to some agreement and work out. But I hate to see them walking off the job. It would be nice to see keep working, work through a resolution. But
this is a unique time. This is a unique building. a unique sight in American history. And to walk off the job in a contract dispute 10 days, or a matter of days before the 10th memorial.
So you think for patriotic
out of bounds.
purposes and patriotic reasons they should continue to work?
I wouldn't put the word patriotic. I wouldn't use that label. I wouldn't put it there. I think this is a special time, a special place, and I think it's an insult and an outrage to let a contract dispute interfere with the rebuilding of that building.
I'm just saying
that would be my
that
position.
contract dispute may be the fault of management. They may be tightening the screws more than we could possibly know because we don't know all the inner workings of those meetings.
Okay.
But it's not actually expected to delay the opening, though, is the problem. So.
No, it's not. Fair point. All right. Well, we shall see, of course. Joanie Ruge, a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. Come and see us again.
Absolutely.
Nicole, is it now all 30 of the Dow stocks are lower? Is that still correct or what?
IBM is punching its way, so it's going green, red, green, red, green, red.